Welcome to That's Based. Happy WTF Wednesday. I'm your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore, reporting from somewhere underground. We're laughing our way through the end of days, and brought to you by our friends over at Outlaw Streamers, along with Blood of Tyrants Wines. Drink bloodofTyrants.com, promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show. Going to save you 10% off your order at the checkout. Again, that's drinkbloodofTyrants.com, promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D. Like the title of the show, it's going to save you 10% off your order at the checkout. They got two types of wine, red and white, along with the Liquid Freedom Energy Drink, as you see pictured right there. One more time, that's drinkbloodofTyrants.com, promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D. Like the title of the show, it's going to save you 10% off your order at the checkout. All right, it's WTF Wednesday. I know I look a little disheveled right now. I'm nursing a Gatorade. No, I'm not hungover. All the shit I talked finally caught up with me. I got sick. I woke up Tuesday morning, and you know, one of those times you wake up and it's just like, nope. That's kind of how Tuesday was. Mia, the red-faced white supremacist, is here with us, as usual, on WTF Wednesdays. She can attest that there's got to be something wrong with me if I stay in bed till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? You can confirm that? Can you? Yeah. That's...
Yes, I can confirm.
There's something, because I'm not... Don't get me wrong, I'll sleep in when I need to, but never that late. There's something's the matter with me. Just like, it's not stomach flu, it's not COVID, just exhausted, dehydrated, and run down. I don't feel like I'm on death's door. Just run down is probably the best word for it. I'll be fine. I'm already feeling a little bit better. We're going to get back into the swing of things. We're certainly not missing a show. Certainly not WTF Wednesdays. That's for sure. I can tell you that much. So so WTF Wednesdays, for those of you that are new, it's a little bit different. We take a break from politics and world events and social commentary to get into some of the maybe less believable, I don't know, mess or more. Oh, you picked.
Got one close to home.
I wanted to talk about this guy anyway. Have we talked about this guy on the show?
I don't think so.
So we take stories that are a little bit out of the ordinary. They deal with the paranormal, ghosts, aliens, the all-around weird, thus the name WTF Wednesday. And we'll have a little bit of fun with them. So this first one hits home a little bit closely. So I know I have thrown myself into this story because it's so fascinating to me and makes absolutely no sense. So there is a guy. So let me break it down for those of you who aren't local, because this is a local story here from where I'm from. So is Bennington its own city, or has it been annexed? Do you know?
I think it's been annexed.
So there's a suburb of Omaha called Bennington. That's probably what? It's probably about 25 minutes north. We live right in the middle of town. It's probably about 25 minutes north of us. Probably, yeah, if I speed. Yeah, about 25 minutes north of us. It's a town. It used to be its own town. It's a village, I think, called Bennington. And there's a highway on Bennington, or out by Bennington. And we have now had multiple people had an instance where they have to swerve their car off the road because when they're driving down this highway, there's some type of piece of junk in there that's obviously big enough for them to have to dodge it. And they've swerved into ditches. Some of them have hit it and damaged their vehicle. But every single time that this has happened, they've all reported that the same guy, and they've all described a similar guy with the same type of vehicle, has come out of nowhere seemingly almost immediately after the event occurs to the quote-unquote rescue. So the local news reported on this. Here's where it gets even weirder. So you've obviously got no one's stayed to hang around with the guy, right? So everyone has reported that the guy said, "Hey, I've already called a tow truck. Why don't you come wait with me in my car?" Nobody's ever been dumb enough to get with him. So bravo to you guys for being smarter than the people in the horror movies. So no one's gone with him yet, and driven away in their damaged vehicles, called and contacted the police. So the local news ran a story on this, and this is where it gets even weirder. Local news runs a story on this. They interview one of the would-be victims of this guy. It was him and his girlfriend or wife or whatever had been hit or had been victim or near victims of this, and he offered him to come sit in the car, and they drove away. And that's the weird thing is the guy's not targeting men, women. It just seems to be anybody. And so they interview one of his would-be victims, and the would-be victim, a day after this story blows up in the local community, the would-be victim who did the interview calls in after hours to the news station, says, "Hey, I've changed my mind," leaves a voicemail. "Can you guys remove this story? I don't want to be interviewed in it anymore. I've changed my mind." So it was after hours, so they couldn't talk to him. So they call the number that they have on file from the would-be victim that they did the interview with, say, "Hey, what's going on? Why did you want us to remove this story all of a sudden?" He goes, "I never called you and said to remove the story." So they play the tape. They have the guy come in. They play the tape back to him of the voicemail that he left. And he's like, "Yeah, that's not my voice. And not only is that not my voice, that sounds exactly like the guy who tried to pick me up on the side of the road." So here's the story. This national news outlets picked it up. It says, in a bizarre story out of Nebraska, a mysterious individual made himself available to multiple people in separate odd traffic accidents, leaving those who have encountered the proverbial highway phantom to wonder if he was behind the strange events. I don't know if it's definitely a real guy. I don't know if I'd call him a phantom, because they had someone from the area call into Scott Voorhees on 1110 KFAB and said, "We've all got a pretty decent idea of who the guy is." They wouldn't name him because the show didn't want to get, in trouble for defamation. But he said, "We've got a decent idea of who the guy is." And it turns out the police served him a warrant. Here's where this gets weird, though, is technically he's just being weird. You can't arrest somebody for being weird. Like, that's... So the curious case began late last month when Kyle Sorensen ran over a bicycle sitting in the middle of the road in the community of Bennington. While looking to see if his car had been damaged, a man pulled up behind him, and it was an individual saying he was checking to make sure they were okay. Though nothing came of the seemingly good-natured exchange, it was the beginning of a truly weird series of events. Shortly after Sorensen's encounter with the man, his wife drove by the same location and witnessed the mysterious individual tending to another accident. Things became even more eerie this past weekend when the highway phantom appeared under strange circumstances yet again. Sorensen's friend Garrison Beach was cruising down the highway when he spotted a big piece of metal in the middle of the road that caused him to swerve his car into a roadside ravine. While he and his friend Skylar came out of the accident unscathed, they were ultimately more unnerved when this guy showed up at the scene seconds after the crash. As one may have surmised by now, the helpful stranger was the same individual who offered aid to Sorensen. Chillingly, Beach recalled that he noticed the man parked nearby prior to the accident in a manner that would seem to suggest he was waiting for it to occur. Setting aside those suspicions, Sorensen observed that in 2 weeks, this has been 3 incidents where he was immediately the first person on the scene. It seems strange. The two couples reported their respective accidents to the police while voicing their concerns that the cases were connected and possibly intentionally orchestrated. Meanwhile, a local TV station covered their curious accident, which led to the story taking a rather surreal twist. So that's where it explains that the guy called in and asked to have it removed. Like I just said, I'm not going to repeat myself there. Yeah, so this is all... What do you think this is? It's not a ghost. It's a real guy.
Hearing how it was connected to people who knew each other, I wonder if it was somebody who knew them and was like trying to, I don't know, do something.
Don't you think that if they knew the guy, they would have said that in the interview?
Maybe they didn't,
or maybe he's like stalking them from afar and they don't know him, but he knows them, kind of thing. Huh. It's also kind of a small, tightly knit community, so they all just might know each other.
That's true.
That could be the angle there. This reminds me of, I think I was 16, 17. I was out with one of my friends, and we stopped at this gas station. Well lit, nicer gas station, right? Not a horrible part of town, but any gas station after dark, especially one that's 24/7, has the reputation of drawing in some unsavory characters, right? So I remember we pulled in, went into the gas station. I went to the bathroom, grabbed a drink real quick, and walked out. And this is like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And me and my friend get in the car and we go to drive away. And before we drove away, I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye this girl that we went to high school with that was in our friends group, whatever, long story. That'll come into play later on in the story. So we get in the car to drive away. This woman comes up to us and says, guys, I've been beaten. I need a ride to 84th Street. Now, 84th Street, for those of you who aren't from Omaha, Mia, would you say 84th Street is kind of a general? It's kind of, you need to be a little bit more specific when you tell someone where you need to go on 84th Street, one of the busiest streets in the town. And so I've been hit. I don't know if I'm being followed. I need to go to 84th Street. Please give me a ride. Now, I had seen every horror movie in the world when I was a teenager. So I immediately knew, nope, we're not doing this. So my friend was just kind of like frozen. He didn't know what to do. And I'm just like, I turned to him, I go, drive. So we just take off and leave this woman in the dust. And she's yelling like, God bless you guys at us. Have you ever seen the show My Name is Earl? She looked like the hooker from My Name is Earl. That's not a good thing. So I'm like shook up by this because I'm pretty sure someone just tried to rob us or do God knows what. And then I remembered that I thought I saw the girl from our high school friend group there. So I texted her. I said, hey, were you just at insert gas station here like an hour ago? She said, no, why? And I told her what happened. I said, this lady came up to us, said she'd been beaten, asked us for a ride, all this stuff, right? And she goes, no, I wasn't there, but that's weird you say that because I had a lady come up to me at that gas station yesterday and tell me she was being beaten and needed a ride to 84th Street. And I was like, huh, so maybe this isn't, maybe this wasn't so innocent. Maybe my instincts were correct. Huh, I don't know, who knows?
I would have given her a ride.
You would have given her the ride? Which is what, no, you wouldn't have. Be serious for a second. Would you have given her a ride?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Probably back in high school I would have.
Well, that's why those types of people target women, because you guys are more likely to help somebody. That's in your nature, is to be a caretaker. That's why that one of the oldest ruses to rob a house is to either send a woman who looks like she's been beaten up to it, or set a recording of a crying baby outside the door, because women's first instinct is to open the door and see what's going on. A man calls 911. You know, if you hear a crying baby outside of our door, you call 911. Do not open the door, right?
But what if I want a baby?
Then I'll take care of that. I thought you were already pregnant. That's the joke we've been running on this show for the last 3 months. No, that's if you hear a crying baby outside the door, you do not unlock the door. In fact, the first thing you do is you grab your gun. If you don't have a gun, you're probably not listening to this show. So first thing you do is grab your gun. Second thing you do is call 911. Third thing you do is go around the house, make sure the rest of the doors and windows are locked, and then you put yourself in a room where you can ideally lock the door, put your back to a wall, point the gun at the door, and wait for the police to arrive. Because that way, if somebody does come in, they've only got one way into the room, and you're going to be able to crack a couple shots off at them before they get to you. That's what you do if you hear a crying baby or a woman screaming, help, I've been beaten, please let me inside. You know not to let her inside either, right? Hey, I'll call the police. Absolutely. Wait on my porch. I'll call the police. I'll flip the porch light on for you. I'll sit here with a shotgun if the guy comes there. But I'm not going to let you into my home because as bad as it is that you may have been beaten, my family is more important to me than you are. And that's unfortunate, but I can't take those risks when that is such a known ruse. Do not open the door. Don't even answer the door at night. You know, don't even answer the door at night. If you get a knock on your door, it'll just be a free game here. If you guys get a knock on your door at night and they say, police, open up, don't open up. Say, okay, what's your name? Through the door, without opening the deadbolt, you yell, okay, what's your name, badge number, and your purpose for your visit? And if they don't give you the name and badge number, you immediately call the real police and get a gun, because that's a setup. If they do give you a name and badge number, you call 911. You say, okay, I'm going to call 911 and confirm. Because if he's a real cop, he'll know. He'll know that that's protocol, and he'll have no problem waiting for you, right? If he's not a real cop, he'll get impatient. If they make it seem like it's urgent and you need to open the door, nope, you can wait. I'm not in any danger in here. Whatever's going on out there can wait. You don't need me for whatever you got to do out there. So no matter how urgent they sound, no matter how much they try to rush and confuse you, you get a knock on the door at night, someone claiming to be a police officer. I don't care if they're in a police uniform. You can go to Party City and get one for $50. You get a knock on the door, or not Party City, Nobby's. No, Nobby's is close to Mangelson's. Mangelson's for $50. You get a knock on the door at night saying, police, open up. Name, badge number, and purpose for your visit, then you call 911 and confirm it. If 911 confirms it, sure, do what you got to do after that. Do not let anyone into your home, especially at night, claiming to be a police officer until you've verified that they're a police officer. I hate to feel like I'm preaching and lecturing my audience right now. I'm actually lecturing my wife, because she's the one I'm concerned about letting them in if I'm ever not home overnight. So this is actually a lecture for her that you guys are getting to sit in on. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Any other scenarios you want to run by me?
No, let's just move on.
Okay. We can go over these. When we go to your training with the guy from the gym, that's when we'll go over other scenarios. Okay. Says, next one here. Bizarre banana mystery baffles British town. Is this like an alliteration on purpose? Bizarre banana mystery baffles British town. British town's been gripped by a bizarre mystery wherein a plate of peeled bananas has appeared on the side of a road on the same day of every month for at least a year. See, this is the kind of town I want to live in, where this is newsworthy, where this is what... There's so little going on. There's so little to be concerned about. This is the kind of thing that riles everybody up. The flummoxing fruit phenomenon. Okay, now they're fucking around now. Is reportedly the talk of the town and the community of Beeston after the most recent occurrence last week. Baffled residents say the bananas ritually reappear on the second day of every month, and the person behind the mysterious offerings is yet to be seen. While some say that the fruit started appearing around this time last year, others indicated that the beginning of the mystery could stretch back to sometime in 2023. It's quite strange, mused resident James Oviedo. There's always a big bunch of them peeled on the plate, and they always appear to be drizzled with what seems to be honey. Has anyone tried them? That's what I want to know. The bewildering batches of bananas. One more goddamn alliteration, I'm turning this off. The show's over. It says usually between 15 and 20 have understandably spawned several theories among community members, wondering who and what is behind the mystery, noting that the fruit is always placed in the same spot across the street from a church. Some have suggested the case could be religious in nature. Another possibility considered by the communities that bananas are simply being left for local wildlife. However, that scenario does not explain why the fruit shows up on the same day of every month. Although one might find some whimsy in the mystery, many in Beeston disagree, with one woman calling the situation strange and disgusting. What? You got literally nothing better to do. Because the untouched bananas often wind up a mold-covered mess. To that end, resident Claire Short recently placed a sign at the spot wherein she asked the phantom fruit. There we go. All right, we're done. See you guys later. The phantom fruit fan to kindly stop their curious... God damn it! Their curious crusade. Alas, when the bananas appeared again on January 2nd, she reportedly removed the message because I don't want it to become a big thing. Then why did you go to the press? Yeah, I don't want it to be a big thing, so I'm going to blast it all over the news. Considering the case has made worldwide headlines this week, it is likely a little too late for that. Meanwhile, the community will have to wait until February 2nd to see if the widespread attention will result in Beeston finally being free of the banana mystery. Has no one set up like a camera? No one's...
It's a small British town. They probably haven't thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, well, these are people that are too fucking lazy to brush their teeth, so that doesn't surprise me either. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably like a religious thing. That'd be my guess. Here's my thing. Have you seen the shit British people eat? The audacity of anyone in England to call any food disgusting, moldy or not, is preposterous. I mean, these people, it's disgusting what the crap that passes for food over in England. Fish and chips, solid. I'll give you that. Anything beyond that, thank God we fought a war against you guys 250 years ago, because I could not imagine having to scarf down the garbage that you people put in your mouths. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. Accused killer credits Diabolical Goblin with helping him evade capture. After being arrested for allegedly killing 2 people last year, a Colombian man surprised police when he explained that he managed to evade capture for months thanks to the help of a diabolical goblin. According to a local media report, the weird case came to light this week when authorities apprehended Kevin Orlando Arias Ferrero, who was wanted for murder of 2 men in an incident that occurred back in April. The months-long search for the suspect culminated in a wild chase wherein he hit a police officer with his motorcycle before crashing and being taken into custody, which is when cops noticed a curious doll in his possession. I have the picture of the doll. I thought it was the Grinch at first. Looks like an elf on the shelf. Upon being questioned about the particular figurine, Ferrero coolly replied that he's the diabolical goblin who protected me. The accused killer went on to explain that he prayed to a sinister spirit that inhabits the doll every morning at 4 a.m. That sinister spirit is known as methamphetamines, where I'm from, which is why it had taken authorities months to catch him. As for why he would behind bars this week, Ferrero lamented that he failed to do the ritual on that particular morning, leading to the goblin rescinding its protection and causing him to be captured. The young man has been charged with 2 murder counts as well as a litany of other crimes associated with his attempted getaway. The whereabouts of the doll are unknown, though cops may wish to keep it under the lock and key lest it helps facilitate any further trouble. Yeah, you don't want him to have that in jail. That could be a problem. That's well, it's weird because they've also got Saint Michael the Archangel here. Did you see that in the picture? They've got this goblin, they've got a bunch of crucifixes, some coins, and then a statue of Saint Michael the Archangel. So you'd think those two would, like, cancel each other out. You don't think that would work that way. Yeah, I think the spirit, like I said, is drugs. That's what I think's going on here. Do you think the goblin helped him evade police, or do you think it's the fact that the Colombian police aren't exactly known for being top-notch?
I think it's a 600-pound goblin demon.
400-pound goblin
400-pound goblin demon.
Yes. All right, last one here. Asparamancer reveals 2025 forecast. Oh, we're back. I forgot about this. Wow, we've been doing this segment for over a year. We talked about this lunatic a year ago.
I was hoping you'd remember her.
Yes. Do you guys remember the British? You guys know I already think mediums are a bunch of whack jobs, right? Well, this one has a special place in my heart. Do you guys remember the psychic medium we covered a year ago, who is famous for using asparagus to forecast New Year predictions? Did we do any follow-up on her 2024 predictions, or does this article cover it?
The article states one of her predictions, which we talked about, was that there would be the first woman president.
Well, she was wrong on that one. I'm going to Google it. I want to see if we can see what this woman's batting average is here. What are the asparagus predictions? The percentage here. That's I remember that. She let's see here. How does it work with the asparagus? Do you remember?
She throws it up in the air, and then based on how it lands or something like that.
That's right. All right, let's go. 2024 asparagus predictions. Can't believe I'm Googling this. Let's see. So she did predict Biden would quit during the 2024 race. But I think a lot of people... She was not the only one suggesting that. There were a lot of people. Admittedly, I was not on that bandwagon. A lot of people predicting that. Let's see here. Let's see what she predicted. So she predicted a female U.S. president. She predicted regime change throughout the world on a huge scale. That's not a prediction. That's not again. What do I always tell you guys? When we do the big show, and the midweek check-ins, the other 2 Wednesdays of the month, and I make predictions, I always tell you, none of these are of a psychic nature. I have no special abilities or powers or anything like that. I'm merely a person who can look at patterns and tell you where things are going to go next based on precedent that's been set in the past and the likely next steps that are going to come from something like this. You are not psychic if you could predict regime change throughout the world. That was obvious the way that the world was trending this year. She projected members of the royal family would get divorced. Again, people will become sick of celebrity antics and culture. Again, we had been trending that way for a while. People were getting tired of it. Public figures will be revealed to have profited from illegal activities. These are so obvious. And then she said Great Britain won't do well at the Olympics, which she got wrong. Rich television personalities will lose their jobs. Well, stay tuned for that one. That's probably coming into this year. Influencers will lose their influence. I mean, so her specific predictions, she got wrong. General statements that really aren't psychic predictions and they're just observations people can make based on the way the world is trending and social and current events and historical precedents. Yeah, she did okay on those. But by this logic, I'm more of a psychic than her because my predictions are way more accurate. Okay, let's go to all right, let's read it here. British psychic medium famous for using asparagus, of all things, to forecast the new year has issued predictions for 2025. Popular personality with the British media thanks to her unorthodox divination method, Jemima Packington claims she can see into the future by studying how the vegetables fall after she tosses a bundle of them into the air. The Asparamancer, as she is affectionately known, has been credited with predicting a handful of major world events, such as the election of Donald Trump in 2016, the passing of Queen Elizabeth in 2022. Oh, wow, she predicted a 100-year-old woman was going to die. Let me guess, she thought Jimmy Carter was going to die, too. Oh, boy. Packington reported that was probably her first prediction for 2025. Oh, Jimmy Carter is going to die. Oh, what gave it away? Packington reportedly kept the odd tradition alive this week where she performed her annual asparagus exercise and put forward her 2025 predictions. All right, where are the predictions at? All right, it says here, for 2025, she foresees a wave of significant political resignations around the world. Shocking celebrity arrests. Again, guys, this is not psychic. This is someone going off the Diddy bandwagon. Scandals surrounding social media influencers. She offered some largely unambiguous predictions. She claims that the tossed vegetables told her Donald Trump would experience a major health scare sometime this year, and that we would see a mass casualty, catastrophic event connected to climate change. Don't you dare say the fires are connected to climate change. We're going to talk about that Saturday. Arson and failed public policy are not climate change. Looking back on Packington's 2024, so she said, do you remember her? So this goes into detail. Do you remember her female president prediction?
Yeah, I do.
She said it wouldn't be Kamala Harris. She said it was going to be Michelle Obama, which is insane. Why? Well, again, why would you not just take the layup? Like, I know Kamala was a horrible candidate. There was still a decent chance that she was going to win in November. Why would you not just stop and say there's going to be a female president in America? You've already predicted Biden to drop out. Just roll with Kamala. That was the obvious choice. She didn't do it. She got too greedy. She lost either way, so it didn't matter. How many of those do you think are going to come true from the Asparamancer?
I don't know, maybe a couple of them, but not because she's predicting them.
No. Again, it's not. This is not someone with psychic powers. The asparagus, I mean, that's lunacy to think that asparagus is predicting the future. I mean, what does she do? So if it lands on its head, then Trump's going to have a heart attack. If not, then he won't. I mean, where do you come up with this crock of shit? No, being able to look at patterns, look at historical precedents, and make logical predictions as to what comes next. It does not mean you're a psychic. It does not mean you're anointed from God. It does not mean you have any type of special powers. It just means that you're well read on history and you somewhat follow global or American or whatever politics and can see how things are going to go next. It does not mean you are Mia. What does it not mean you are? Do you want to hit him with a sound effect? No. I was going to say the Messiah, but we blew it. Never mind. You blew it.
I'm the Messiah.
No, you're not.
I didn't know which one you wanted me to play.
Oh, I was kind of leaning into that when I was talking about people not being anointed from God, despite what their schizophrenic delusions may tell them. All right. Anyway.
Wait, I have one.
What's that?
It's not really a story.
Okay.
But there weren't any Loch Ness Monster stories.
I noticed that.
Yeah. I searched and searched. I couldn't find any. So instead, I'm just going to say the number of total sighting counts of the Loch Ness Monster because there's a website where they keep track of the sighting counts.
Oh, okay.
So as of today, January, whatever today is.
Today is the 14th. The show airs on the 15th.
Okay, and they've been keeping track of them since 2021.
Okay.
There's 1,159 sightings.
It's a lot of logs. A lot of logs and swimmers and waves. You said how many? 1,000 what?
1,159, and this has been keeping track since 2021.
So in 4 years now, we have 1,100 people have seen it, but no concrete proof. No concrete proof. I mean, Nessie is... At this rate, if bin Laden would have hit as well as Nessie did, the Taliban, they might have actually destroyed America, So, okay. Anyway, that's been our show. We will see you guys Saturday for the big show. Hopefully, I'll be feeling a little bit better by then. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse, and stay based.